Hello and welcome. My name is Kia and I'm coming to you from Sweden in a small village outside of Gothenburg. This is my channel here on YouTube where I share with you my crafty life. I'm a knitter and a spinner and sometimes other crafts as well. On social medias you can find me as Ciasbod on Instagram, on Ravelry, and I also have a website, ciasbod.se. I will put up this video with links to everything I talk about today in this episode. Well, I have a lot of finished objects and I have recently gotten home from a very long road trip. We took up north, we went through Norway up to Nordkap, the highest point where you can get in the Nordic countries. And we went down through Finland over to Sweden and then back home. So it ended up being 580 Swedish miles, so that's a long trip. It took 14 days from the start to the end and a lot of hours in the car, of course, and that means in my world it means a lot of knitting time. I had a few things on the needles the last time I was here on YouTube, and I had some plans and what to bring on the journey and so on. So we will pick up the thread there and start by talking about what am I wearing today. This was on the needles the last episode, and yeah, it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit not me. I don't feel quite comfortable in the colors, in the style, but also it's a happy sweater, and yeah, I feel quite, you know, when I look in the mirror I get happy watching. So it's a nice sweater. It's something I knitted from the bottom and up, and as you can see with the drop shoulder construction, I made 3 needle bind-offs on the shoulders here. I picked up and knitted the sleeves out like that, and yeah, I binded off under the sleeves and knitted the front and the back separately and then joined them in the shoulders. I made the back piece as a straight piece, and the front piece I did some decreasing for the neckline, and then I picked up stitches around here for the collar, and I knitted all the ribbings and all, yeah, everything in garter, so it's only knit stitches back and forward. So garter stitch here, garter stitch, and knitting just back and forward, leaving opening as this in the sleeves as well, and of course in the collar as well, knitting back and forward. And what I did to make it lay flat and nice like this is I put 2 markers on the line here where I did the 3 needle bind off, and then I did increases on every side of the marker, so I did like a raglan, so just to make it lay flat both on the back and on the front nicely like this. So I did increase on both sides every other row, so just a little bit of help to make it lay nicely like this. I knitted this in fingering. It's baby merino, the blue one, and the lime green is I think it's some kind of wool silk blend. And my friend, she dyed it first with yellow onion skin and then on top of that with indigo. So it has a little blue tone in it. So it blends very well together with the blue. And yeah, I think it's a funny sweater. A little bit boxy. As you can see, not too long, just a little bit flowy like that. Really nice. It was supposed, when I actually knitted a swatch for this one, nothing that I spend time on very often, but this time I did, and I did the calculations, and I thought I would make a you know, fitted t-shirt. But when I started to knit, it didn't end up like I was doing the calculations from the swatch. So the swatching is not for me. I can't make it work in the end. So I had to rethink when I came a bit and I realized this will be boxy, not a fitted t-shirt. That's when I came up with the drop shoulder and the collar, and I thought, yeah, it will be fun. It will be a fun sweater. And I like it. I like the stripes and I like the drop shoulders, the collar, yeah, everything. The only thing I'm not super happy about is the colors, actually. It's not colors that I feel really comfortable in, but I'm getting used to them. It's, yeah, they make me happy. I look in the mirror and I get happy, and that's a good thing. I think I used 300 grams. Let's have a look. Yes, 300 grams of this, and of course more of the blue than the lime green. I'm not sure about the amounts here, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. What else can I say? It's knitted on 3mm needles, so it was quite time consuming, but also mindless, so it was easy knit actually. Okay, that's what I'm wearing, and also what I had on the needles when in my previous episode. Something else that I had on the needles, that when I knitted this one, I was thinking about this green, and I thought that, those two can perhaps get matchy, but I realized very soon that no, this is too blue and this is more towards the yellow green. But I really love this one with something else in under. But it was because of this I remembered that I had a sweater's quantity of this lovely green in my yarn cupboard here. So it's Swedish wool from Ciasbod, 3-ply, so that's like 200 meters per 100 grams, and I love this color. It makes me so thinking of early spring, or also you know, autumn and cold summer evenings and everything. And perhaps you can remember or recognize the pattern here. It's the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers, and what I did was to go down one needle size. I went from 6mm to 5mm to get a tighter gauge, and I'm happy for it. I think I made 2 more of the increase patterning here, just to make it a little bit wider. And I knitted also almost like 550 grams, so it's a much longer cardigan than it would be from the pattern. And something I'm very pleased with is that I made pockets on it. So on both sides I have pockets, and one for the car key and one for the phone. That's all you need nowadays. So I'm really glad that I did this. And I actually decided, I had it in my mind, but I actually decided afterwards that I will go through and make the pockets. So I didn't knit in contrasting color. I just decided what row I will do the pocket, and I cut one little thread, and then I took it open as wide as I wanted it, and I used double pointed needles, DPNs, so I got to put all the stitches from the top part on one needle and the bottom part on one needle. So I knitted from the bottom needle, I knitted up a ribbing like this and bind it off, and from this top needle I knitted down a pocket on the inside, and then I stitched it on from the inside here. So very, very nice. You don't get any, you can't see here, it's flat, and yeah, it gets really, really nice. So this is not from the pattern, this is just something that I decided. Since it got longer than in the pattern, it gave room, and it also sort of needed something to happen here, not to get only, you know, flat. And I went for blue blue buttons, because I was thinking of the lime green and blue that I was so drawn to on this one, and I wanted to make it happen on this one as well. So it's blue buttons on a green lovely sweater. As I said, this sweater weighs like 500 and I think 65 grams or something when it's done. So I'm very, very happy with that one, because I had 600 grams, and to almost use up everything, that's the perfect ending for me. I had to, you know, bind off and save for pockets and what do you say, button bands. Yes, that's something I did different on this as well. That's not in the pattern. I did all the ribbings in broken rib. So it's one row with one knit, one purl, and one row with only knits. So you get a little bit interesting. I think it's very, very good looking, the broken rib. So I did it on all the neckline and the button bands, and so that's also something that's not in the pattern. Changing the gauge, doing the broken rib, adding the pockets and the length, of course. So that gave me a lovely, lovely cardigan that I have been using a lot. This was one of the garments that I packed on our trip, and I wore it on a picture on Instagram. Nowadays we don't get to, you know, reach out to a lot of people, but I had this one on when I was on the polar circle in Norway, and we took a picture of me and Nemo, the dog, and it got almost 10,000 views, that picture. And that's really not very common on Instagram nowadays. So a good reaching with this one. I'm not sure if it was the sweater or if it was the polar circle. I think it was perhaps the polar circle. But I wore this sweater, that much I can say. So these two were finished before we left. And I also finished, I know I told you that I had a pair of very, very light yellow, pale yellow socks. They get very, very white. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just plain stockinette, nothing special at all. But just knitted to wear as, you know, a pair of simple socks. So those were finished before I left. And then I was planning what to bring on the trip, because as I said, 580 miles, that's a lot of hours, 14 days, and at least 5 hours in the car every day, minimum, I should say. So I brought out something that I wanted to finish to bring, and it was Elsie's blanket. And I started to spin this yarn last summer, and knitted it both in the summer and autumn, and then I couldn't come up with a good ending of the blanket, because I made the pattern up myself. I started here in the middle, and then just 4 markers, and yeah, like raglan, but you never end. It's a big blanket. But I had it for a very long time. It was just laying almost finished. I had binded off everything, and I had to decide how to end this blanket. And I knitted to my latest granddaughter Hanselhapp with this lace border, and then I realized that that's what I want to do, because this one is it's geometric, it's with squares, and it feels a little bit hard on the edges. It needed to lighten up a bit, so this lace border was just perfect. So this was something I was doing for I don't know how many days. It took a lot of time, at least 4 days, I think, 5 days perhaps, to knit the lace border around, because you knit it, you cast on 8 stitches on one corner, and then you knit back and forward like this. So every time you come in here, you knit 2 together, so you sort of connect the lace this way. So I haven't even tried to figure out how many times I went like that, but really glad with it. It's done, and I have still I haven't blocked it yet, because we had the family here. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. So I didn't want it to hang to dry so she could see it, but I will block it now, and see how it will stretch out and bloom, and I will pray that it won't bleed, the colors won't bleed. The bottom yarn is my Handspun, and those are just mohairs that I bought it just to brighten it up a bit. But it was a unicorn fiber, and I plied it with a white that I spun on a single, and the unicorn on a single, and then I plied them together. So it's very low in the contrasting in the colors, but I really like it. It's really lovely. So I hope that she will be happy for it, and we shall see if we can make some kind of frame, to stretch it when we block it. We shall see. So Elsie's blanket is finally done, and that feels like such a relief, I must say. It was good to have one of those projects that I had to pick one of the projects that I brought in the car. I had to knit on, so it was so good not to have the opportunity to do something else. I had to knit on that one. I also casted on for the trip a pair of socks, and those were also one of the knits that I preferred. It was easy, you know, it's portable, it's easy to bring. When you leave the car you can bring a knitting, and yeah, it's not a big project to carry around. And I knitted it in broken rib, of course, 3 knits and 1 purl, and just knits on the next round. So lovely. My friend Marie from Fiberdrama, from another Swedish podcast here, she had been dyeing the yarn for this pair of socks. So those are also done from the trip. I have one more project that I brought on the trip, but I will show it as an ongoing project because I'm not I'm not done yet. But I wanted to show you because the reason I am knitting, no, not only the reason I'm knitting socks, but I am knitting 1 pair of socks every month this year. So I have now been knitting 1 pair of the dark gray, 1 pair of the funny with the color work, 1 pair of self-striping sock, also a little bit funny, and 1 pair of gray, and now 1 pair of yellow and 1 pair of this rusty brown. They are matching with that one that we will talk about really soon. But yes, 6 pair of socks, and I have the 7th pair for July is on the needles. So feels nice. I still have yarn here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pair of socks, and all, you know, all the scraps. 1 pair of sock is about 65 grams, and you end up with 25-35 grams on every pair. So in the end it can be a fun sock for the last one. That's not all the sock yarn I have, but that's the yarn that I picked out for me to knit this year. And then I can fill up the little box for the next year. But not to rush ahead. Let's keep it 1 year at a time. I'm glad I'm keeping up. The 7th pair is on the needles. So the last thing that is also finished is something. I spun this yarn. It's a handspun yarn, and I spun it earlier this year. And I took 1 braid of hand dyed from my friend Garnbyrån, Emma, and I applied it together with a merino orange from Vinterverkstan, and I was not quite sure if I would have enough yarn to, you know, make the full sweater. But the only way, I was hesitating, and I put it aside, and I wasn't sure if I could make the yarn last for 1 full sweater. But the only way to know is to finish the sweater and to block it. And after blocking it, I tried it on, and I realized a little bit more on the sleeves. All the yarn was ended, it was done. So I needed a little bit more on the sleeves, and I needed something for the neckline. So I brought out another handspun yarn that I had. It's not super matchy, but it's not very, you know, not so it's matching enough, I think. So the neckline and the sleeve ribbings are in a contrast color, but that's totally fine for me. The pattern for this sweater is the texture of this sweater is from a Swedish book, Erika Åberg, Knit from Coast to Beach, But I only knitted up to here from the book, and then she has a raglan construction with a little bit of color, and I decided to do a drop shoulder. I'm into drop shoulders, and just pick up and knit the sleeves out like that. So I'm really happy. The other evening I just finished it. I had to block it before, so I knew how much it would stretch, how much I would need to knit extra on it. But I love the colors. I really, really love this. It's like a firework. It's really beautiful, I think. So really glad. It is extra joyful when you finish a garment from something you have spun yourself, from yarns you have spun yourself. And I actually have the full shelf here is with handspun yarn, so I can make more sweaters with handspun yarn. I will just have to mix and match and come up with something to cast on. But that's all the finished objects for today. So I think I counted to 6 finished objects, 3 garments and 1 blanket and 2 pair of socks. So that's really, really good, I think. Something else that I casted on, I know I showed you the yarn in my previous episode, but I wasn't sure what to knit from it. But I found this pattern that it's a free pattern, and I had saved it on in my Ravelry library for a long time, and I decided, why not, let's knit it. So it's called door type, I'm not sure, and I cast it on this, and this is how far I am. And I'm a little bit unsure because I think perhaps it feels a little bit small. I'm not sure. Perhaps I will have to rip this one out and start again. It's interesting because it was a nice neckline. You knitted a pair, I think 4 or 5 rounds here with just stockinette, and then it rolls over the next one, and then it was double center increase, so you make 1 stitch into 3, and that way it moves like this, the increasing, so it comes every 10th stitch in the beginning, and then it opens up. And then it was supposed to be with dots here, but I have decided to do them with duplicate stitch afterwards, because this darker pink is a little bit thicker than the brighter pink, and I thought it would be really, clumsy, what do you say, it would be thick, and I didn't want to do it as a, what do you say, color work. I decided that I will just go in and sew some stitches. But what I would have to do to make me convinced to continue with this sweater is probably to put it on wires and try it on and see, does it fit or doesn't it fit. Because if it doesn't fit, which is the feeling I'm having, I really shouldn't work on it anymore. But if it fits, I can just keep on knitting. But right now, this was something I knitted in the car as well, but I haven't been knitting on it since I came home, because I finished that one and did some other things here. So this is on the needles, and what I need to do is to try it on to see if I want to finish or if I want to rip it out. So that's the pink one. And of course I wanted to cast on for another pair of socks. I always want to have a pair of socks on the needles, and now I am knitting blue and white striped with I do the heel flap and gusset. I'm not sure, that's something I prefer, top down and heel flap. So this is how far I am on the first one. It's just something that I enjoy to knit on a pair of socks, and I had in my stash, or I had put in my box, it's Isager, the blue one, and it's Dropsnod, the white or the light gray one, and they are both alpaca blend, so they go well together. So that's something I am knitting on, and I have it in my happy bag from Emilio Rosa, a Swedish friend. So that's that. Yes, and on the travel we went, as I said, up in through Norway up towards Lofoten. And in Lofoten there is a company called Lofoten wool. On Lofoten there is a local farm that is collecting fibers, wool from their own sheeps and from local sheeps, and they are producing beautiful yarn. And me and my husband, we went and we decided that he could pick for a sweater. I have so many sweaters and I have so much yarn and so much plans, so I said if he want to pick something, I would love to knit from the company, from Lofoten wool. And he picked a sweater. We will not knit it as a dress, but this man had it as, can you see here, it's a little bit longer on this guy, but it's a beautiful, just simple pattern on it. And my husband wanted a color, a polo neck on it. So I will, instead of making it that long, I will make a nice polo for him to get cuddle up in, because it gets cold around the neck sometimes. So we bought yarn for this sweater, and I have started. It's really nice, and you knit it on 6mm needles, so it goes quite quickly. I just have to concentrate a little bit, because they only had 4 skeins in one dye lot and 4 skeins in another dye lot, and they are a little bit different, if you can see. One is more of grayish and one is more reddish. They plant dyed it with madder. So I am making like 3 rounds in this and 3 rounds in that. So that's something I have to fiddle with a little bit, just to not end up with something that's, you know, the body is in one shade and the sleeves are in another. So I am making 3 rounds of each like this, and I think I will be happy in the end making that small extra effort. And the gray in this brown looks like silver. I think it's a beautiful combination with brown and gray. So this is something I am working on for my husband now, and I think it will be a quick knit because the big needles, but she said it should be knitted a little bit loose. So we bought the sweaters quantity for my husband on the trip, and I was actually planning on buying for a vest for me, but it was quite expensive, I must say, that yarn. So I decided to try out Rauma Vams, this one is called, and it's also a little bit thicker. I think it was 130 meters per 100 grams, and I think perhaps Aran, and this one was a little bit thinner. But I will make a vest for myself in this Vams, Rauma Vams. Really thick and lovely, and it is reminding me of Letlopi, but it's softer than Letlopi, so it's not Icelandic wool. So that's something for me to try. So I have my husband's sweater, and this one will be knitted really soon, I think. In Sweden we are having cold weather. It's like 15 degrees, so it's no problems to knit with wool, even though it should be high summer now, but it's not. That is what I have on the needles and what I have bought. And we also bought, yes, I bought some, you know, a book from Lofoten. When we traveled around Lofoten, it was very good to have a book to, of course we didn't see everything, but you could find places and choose from the trip we were going. And yeah, I did take a swim with Nemo at Haukland Beach, and we did visit Lofoten Wool. We went to a museum with Lars Lerin. It's a Swedish painter, and he lived in Lofoten. He lived in Lofoten when he was young, and he painted a lot of paintings when he was there, and they are still in a museum. So I went, not with the dog. My husband and the dog waited, so I went to watch the paintings that was still there in Lofoten. And we traveled around so many small, you know, fishing villages, and saw just amazing places, took some trips, did some hikes, and yeah, it was amazing. So I bought the book Lofoten. I was reading as he was driving. I was reading. We also left for Nordkap. After Lofoten we traveled north, and we went up to Nordkap. 61 grades north, and I know that Shetland is 60 degrees. You call it degrees when you talk about, yeah, I'm not sure. Shetland is on 60 grader, we call it in Sweden, grades of north, and this one is 71. So this is as far north as you come in the Nordic countries. It's high up in the Arctic. And it was possible to walk 9 more kilometers after not being able to drive the car anymore. But I was having a cold, and I had fever, and it was my first, I think it was the second day after getting the fever. So I was very, very tired and not very energetic, so there was not an option to walk the 9 kilometers, unfortunately. Otherwise that would have been a lovely walk, because we had so much luck with the weather all the time, and it was a beautiful afternoon when we came. And not many hours later the fog just walked in, and you couldn't see anything. So the beautiful view that we had when we arrived just disappeared. So it was amazing. But what struck us when we went, when you come out to this island, Mageröja, it's an island, no you can't see, up in the north, you have to drive under a tunnel for a very long time under the water. And when you come up, it's very how can I explain in English? Nothing grows there. It's very, very only stones and mountains, and it feels like on the moon. And we were just thinking that how can they live here? What do they live of, and how do they live? So in this book, when we got to a little village, fishing village, I got this book and I read it from start to finish. And it is, of course, mainly the fishing and also the tourism that they live from up that far north. So it was interesting reading, really nice to just get the small information that you can read in the car while you are there. Something else that we did a lot, actually 3 times, we went to the Sami museums. There is a lot of Sami, both in Norway and in Sweden, and probably in Finland as well, but we didn't go that far in. We just drove through Finland. But I also got this beautiful book about the Sami people, the sun and the wind, the people of the sun and the wind. I can perhaps translate it to English, but it's also a history about how they lived, and how they have been treated through time, and beautiful. It's a lot of interesting facts that you don't know, even though I live in Sweden and they live in Sweden. There is a lot of things we don't know about the Sami people and how they lived and how they got treated. So it's very good reading, I think. We went to Jokkmokk. That's the Swedish museum, Sami museum, and I got this beautiful mittens. And I think that I realized when I came home, I wonder if I haven't got this one already. So now I might have 2 of these pattern of this lovely mitten. I really like it. So I will cast on for this pair of mitten. I have, 1 second. A couple of years ago, no, not a couple, like 5 years ago, or even more, I bought this yarn to knit Latvian mittens, but I never got around to it, and now I decided that I can knit those mittens from this yarn, and these are the yarns that I got for the mittens. But I want the yellow one, so I had in stash Röros Lammullsgarn, it's Rauma, and I want the yellow to brighten it up. I don't have that happy blue, but I think I will have some happy green or something instead. It will not be the Sami colors, but it will have to do with what I have, because I don't want to buy any more yarn. But I would really love to knit this lovely happy pair of mittens. So that's something that I will cast on. We went to a museum, Viking, the Viking museum in it was in Lofoten, it was, and they were selling just simple bottom hanging spindles, what do you call it? Top whirl and bottom whirl, and I just got it. It's really simple, but yeah, it was not expensive, so I thought, why not just get a little spindle. It is to the fleece, and as a spinner I'm ashamed to say that I haven't planned anything. We have been away for 2 weeks, and I have 1 week now until I start to work again, so we shall see. I hope that I will be spinning something this week, And I also am longing a lot for going back to training. Yeah, you know, there is a lot of things that you enjoy. After being in a car for 2 weeks, there is a lot of things that you enjoy, cooking food, and you enjoy to just walk around and fix a little bit with the flowers, and you know, just the house stuff is enjoyable. So I am just trying to have a relaxing last week before work starts again. And this was one of the things that I wanted to do for this last week before work starts, and it was to sit down and have the possibility to share with you what I have been doing for the last weeks. And I hope that you have a lovely vacation. Perhaps you are like me, soon back to work, but perhaps you are just waiting to go on your vacation. And I hope that you will have a relaxing time. Try to think about that. If the weather is bad, you will get a lot of sit down and knit time. That's not bad either. So I wish for you a lovely summer, and I will see you again in a month. And yeah, let's see what I have been making until then. Bye bye, and thank you so much for watching.